My name's Tom Brock. I'm a lecturer in sociology here at MMU, and I teach on a course around sociological theory, which is very much interested in teaching students around the analytical frameworks of social life to make sense of social behaviour. I'm interested in trying to find ways of getting students to engage with me, but through the process of taking seriously them as individuals, them as people, the people with values and projects and interests. So how that plays out in terms of practice, I spend a lot of my time introducing forms of interactivity and dialogue into my teaching. So for example, in lectures, I often break up the lectures and I'll introduce activities that get students to talk to one another, but also to talk to me. So there is a sense then that when students are engaging around the topic of one theory or a number of different theories, that there's this process of, well, this is how they try to make sense of it, and then I step in and ask them questions around it, and then they reflect on those questions and try to make sense of the theory through their own experiences. But then they come back to me and say, well, this is how I'm thinking about it, and I respond then. So there's this process of dialogue, which I think is very important in the context of sociological theory, because it's quite abstract. So this reciprocity and reflexivity, responding to my students, is an important part of grounding the theory in something that they can relate to. It's informal assessment, actually. Like I say, the two components of reflexivity and reciprocity is about encouraging dialogue, but the reason why that's important in the lectures and the seminars is a mechanism of informal assessment. Because when I speak to my students, I ask them questions about how they're understanding the material. If they're stuck around particular concepts, then it gives me the opportunity to reflect back on them. Well, right, well, no, we need to spend longer on here before I even begin to move further on. And I mean, that's an important part of confidence building, because you don't want to run too far away with students, and that's quite easy with sociological concepts. So you have to so that you encourage dialogue and interaction with them as a way of trying to make sure that they're following you along this journey. One of the best ways that I find to help confidence building is facilitating peer networks and peer dialogue. One of the things that I use, particularly in the seminars, I encourage them to spend most of that time talking to one another, because they're at the same level. And that's an important process, that students need to understand where other students are in relation to themselves. I mean, the main mechanism that I use to build confidence in students is either through one-to-one sessions of discussion around the materials that they're struggling with, or through feedback. Quick and effective responses to students is pivotal, I think, to my teaching practice, because to feedback, because they get a sense of, well, Tom's taking the issues that we have seriously, whether they're small issues such as, okay, well, we don't like the colours that you use in the presentation slides, all the way to, oh right, well, we need to revisit a whole topic because students simply just didn't understand this issue. So the course reps, for that reason, play a pivotal role in good teaching practice, I feel, because they're the linchpin between the students and the lecturer. And the course reps often highlight things that, if left untouched, could become much more serious issues later on. Whereas in my experience, because I spent time building up a rapport with the course rep, it helped the whole module flow a lot smoother.
He just loves what he teaches, and his passion just flows through in how he speaks about it. And I was a first year course rep last year. I'm now a second year course rep. But working with him last year, we both took feedback from the students, but then we also delivered it to the staff and heard from the staff. Everything we had to say to him, both positive and negative, he took it with a smile. I mean, all of it with a smile, and that's rare to see from staff. And he took it all on board, and he listened to all of it very constructively. Told us how he'd improve it. And the main thing was that he did it with a smile, because it's not always easy telling someone where they have to improve. It made it much easier, and it made it much more pleasant as well, because then it gave you the confidence, especially as a first year course rep, it gave you then the confidence to then go and do the same with other staff. He made us feel at ease being able to approach him and stuff. We then spent the rest of the year just speaking to the staff directly, which meant that we could resolve issues much quicker than waiting for these set meetings throughout the year. And that was potentially because we had him first and he took it so well. So it sort of set the path for the rest of them really, which was nice.
Thank you for watching this Good Practice Exchange film. You can find lots more teaching ideas and resources on our website.